Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Planet Green Zen. Again, if you guys have never been to this channel, what I love to do is just inspire the world mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and socially, because I truly believe that if every human on this planet had a holistic balance of each one of those areas, we will live in world peace and abolish hunger, fatness, slavery, war, disease, and have more health, wealth, and abundance together as one human unit. So again, if you guys believe in similar messages, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you're notified when new videos are released. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on these different topics that we cover. And share these out with people in your community who needs to hear these messages.
Planet Green Zen, inspiring the everyday person to break free from the mundane and take action.
Now, I have a special treat for you guys today. Actually, I'm interviewing one of my good friends named Justin. We actually connected through networking. Because like I told you guys before, whenever you are out there pursuing greatness, you have to actually do the work. You have to network, because your net worth is determined upon your network. So I met Justin a couple of years ago, and we connected. We were talking about some great business ventures, and just wanted to interview him, guys, to help inspire you to actually pursue your dreams. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And welcome to the show, Justin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing good, thank you. And for those of you who don't know Justin, he's an investor and he's a trader as well with the stock market, and he does really well at that. So I brought him on the show today just to give you guys some inspiration, whether you're interested in stocks or just pursuing something else. I wanted to just talk to Justin for a few minutes just to get his insights on a few different topics here that we cover. So Justin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as far as your life journey, and how did you actually end up where you are today?
So I started a couple of years ago investing, trading, and it became a passion of mine. And then later I realized that I wanted to start my own business. So as you were talking about earlier, I went out and I was networking with a bunch of people like yourself, trying to find people that wanted to start businesses with me. And that kind of just got me on the right track, trying to pursue what I wanted to do, which was run my own company, which I think I'm finally right there now.
Awesome, man. It's great. And what actually set you out to get that mindset to wanting to start your own business? As far as, was there something that triggered you? Were you born into like an entrepreneurial family? What made you want to pursue entrepreneurship and actually start your own business?
Growing up, I saw my dad in business, and I saw my friends' parents in business, and you can go through some rough patches and you can go through some really good ones, and I wanted to know that I would be able to determine at the end of the day when my rough patches and when my good patches were happening. So that's kind of the entrepreneurial mindset right there, right? So you just want to live your own life. You don't want anybody determining if you're going to get fired the next day or not,
Exactly. I totally agree with that, because so many people put their futures to other people's hands and just hope and wish for the best. It's kind of like throwing the dice and hope you roll a 7 when you actually can create your own number that you want in essence. And right. You said that was key. You said you kind of saw your dad or grew up watching the entrepreneurial family household, and then that kind of sold on to you to pursue entrepreneurship. So remember, guys, I made a couple of videos as far as the difference between like wealthy and successful people and like poor-minded people, to where, again, some people are fortunate enough to actually grow up in a household where they have entrepreneurial parents and they look at that, other people are not. But that doesn't mean that you can't pursue that yourself, because it's all about your habits. It doesn't matter. You could grow up in a successful family and still have poor habits, and then you actually will have that type of outcome. But you grew up in a not so successful family, but you develop the habits of the successful, you actually can develop success yourself. So again, when you guys are on your journey, you have to surround yourself around people who are like-minded, who have similar goals that you do, just so you can actually pursue and actually arise to that next level in life. So that's awesome that you said that. And as far as like your entrepreneurial journey, what made you decide to do stock trading and to help teach people about investing? What made you decide to do that?
So the first thing that probably triggered me, I was, I don't know, probably just about 10 or 11 years old. It was the Great Recession. When that hit, it was terrible for everybody. And you could just see, how people didn't understand what was going on. And, you know, a lot of my friends at the time, their parents had lost their jobs. They went to work minimum wage jobs and such. So I was fortunate enough to not have to go through that, but, you know, a lot of other people who had, you know, those problems and those obstacles that they had to overcome. And that just kind of triggered me into wanting to know, you know, what happened, why it happened, and kind of studying economics on a greater scale so I could understand it. And the teaching people about it is, you know, a cornerstone of kind of like who I am, because I want to be able to teach people about how to be successful, about how to, you know, invest and stuff like that, how to be entrepreneurs. But yeah, the Great Recession was kind of the trigger. And as of recently, I've been writing about a recession that's coming soon. So that's kind of like one of my hobbies that I'm very passionate about.
Awesome, man. Thank you for that. And when it comes to teaching people, do you have any specific products or services you offer? Or do you kind of just teach people that just kind of reach out to you? Or do you have anything that's like a course?
Freshman year in college, I had a lot of people reaching out to me about cryptocurrencies because nobody really understood it. We tried to understand it as far as we could, and, you know, sometimes you still get, you know, the back end of things, you know. So we knew a lot. We tried to teach people as much as we could, and when it happened, it was just like the Great Recession. I mean, it went from $19,000 to being about $6,000, you know, just months later.
Wow.
So I mean, huge thing to put on the back burner there. Stop trading cryptocurrencies, but people still came to me for investing purposes. Try to teach as many people as I can. We don't offer any services as of right now. We've been thinking about making a YouTube channel, even if it's just myself. I've been thinking about it. But as far as offering courses, the furthest I'd go is probably offering a course on Udemy and see if anybody would like to buy it, about entrepreneurship and maybe some finance. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, stay tuned for that. As soon as Justin creates that, I'll let you guys know, and I'll have his information in the description later so you guys can connect with Justin as well. Okay, so next question I have for you is, why do you think that most people, you know, around 95% of people never pursue their dreams and goals? Why is that number so high?
I think money is part of the problem, but not only is it money, because a lot of people have these certain passions that they want to go towards, that they're striving to go towards, but at the same time, other people in their life, like you were saying, you got to surround yourself with like-minded individuals, because at just some point, you know, you look around and you see that what you're doing isn't, you know, what you want to do. And for a lot of people that happens. For me, I'm lucky it happened at such a young age. When I was about 17 years old, I realized I was hanging out with the wrong people. Even, you know, hanging out and playing sports, I just got tired of it. I mean, I realized that even watching sports was just wasting my time. Started reading in my free time. You know, you surround yourself with things that you actually enjoy to do, and that'll make you, you know, a lot happier, and that'll make you actually go towards those goals. Because, you know, sometimes you don't want to take the risk. Like a few months ago when I had to scrap an app project, I could have just, you know, never coded in that again. But when somebody came to me and they asked me, you know, can you help me code this project? I didn't run away from it, because that's one of my true passions, is running businesses and helping people do that. So I went into it, starting an LLC right now, got a contract signed just yesterday for the LLC, and we should be ready to go as far as working with our first client. So, awesome. Yeah.
Congrats on that. That's awesome.
It's just definitely, you know, who you surround yourself with, though. I mean, a lot of people want to do what they want to do. It's just at the end of the day, somebody's usually in their ear telling them, you know, oh, there's risk in that. Like if you're an entrepreneur, you've always heard it, you know, like over 50% of businesses fail within the first year. Okay, well, you know, who are those 50% of people that are running those businesses, and what are they doing? Are they actually doing what they want to do? Probably not.
That's so true. And that kind of touches on the next question I have for you, that where you just touched on. What are your thoughts on other people's opinions, and specifically when it comes to something like you just stated, to where so let's say someone is pursuing something that's outside of that mundane box that we're all taught to live in, and other people will kind of attack them with just negative opinions or say, oh, well, like you said, 50% of business fail, or I tried that before, it didn't work, or your Uncle Joe did it 10 years ago and look at where he's at. Like, what is your intake on other people's opinions when someone else is pursuing the life outside of that box?
You know what? Everybody can do it, and it's a mindset that you possess when you're younger, right? So you have like this innate creativity when you're younger, and you take risks. You know, you put your hand on the stove when you're younger, you put your hand on that boiling pot, you know, and then you realize in a split-second decision that, you know, maybe that's not the right decision to make. So I mean, it's innate that everybody can and will do risk taking and creativity. But as you said, you know, these people live in mundane boxes, and they outline themselves in the society that they conform to. And by doing that, you're not allowing yourself to live your truest life. So, I mean, honestly, you want to get outside that box, I think you should. And you've got to find people that want to get you outside of that box. Because like we literally just said, I mean, half the problem is just surrounding yourself with the right people. The other half is you actually got to want it. You got to work for it. You got to study. You got to read. You got to learn.
That's so, I love you said that. It actually, leads to my next question is, why do you think it's important for people to actually be educated, to educate themselves on different things that they want to pursue, or, you know, success, financial literacy? Why do you think it's important for people to be educated?
You know, the other day I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and we were talking about, you know, countries with high IQs. And in the United States, we used to be the smartest, the most innovative country in the world. We were doing things that nobody even knew. You know, that would take hundreds of years, if not decades, to do what we accomplished in, you know, a very short amount of time, with great colleges, good schools, people wanting to learn. The Industrial Revolution, we created some of the most finite, great systems in the world. And now it's kind of like we're lackadaisical, I think. You know, like there's a very select few working to try and achieve greater things, and a lot of the population's lagging. And if you look at, you know, our test scores, you know, if you look at our IQ scores, if you look at all that, you know, you can see that we're clearly not where we're supposed to be. And that's why these things like Udemy, Coursera, like, you know, Finance Academy or whatever, Finance Academy or whatever it is. I mean, that's why all these things come about, because literally people are trying to give you the education that you need, but you need to go out there and do it. And that doesn't just rely on you being in school, because you're not really learning as much as you'd like to, and you're not retaining as much of that information as you think you are. So in actuality, the whole school system is kind of outdated, and that's why people learn online, and that's why, you know, you're learning how to do real estate, you know, way past your education curriculum, because that's just not how people learn today in the given environment. And you know what? Those people that go outside and they learn, they're usually going to be successful, because they're doing things that others aren't. And like I say that's the 5% of people, and the other 95 is sitting watching Netflix, eating, you know, some chips or something, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the saying says knowledge is power, but there's a missing piece. Knowledge is power, but you have to apply that power and take action, because you can read every book in the world, but if you just, like you said, sit around, just eat chips all day and watch Netflix and don't apply that knowledge, it's kind of useless at that point. So knowledge is power, but you have to take action on that knowledge in order to implement that.
For sure.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. What do most, or actually, what is something that you've been thanked for the most? What do people thank you for the most?
What do people thank me for?
Yeah. Something that people thank you for. Like, have you ever been like, okay, well, thank you for this? Or I know it's typically like one of those odd questions when I ask people that, but what is something you've been thanked for the most that you can first come to your mind?
Well, I mean, I guess honesty is one of my truest virtues. So I talk a lot with people, and I'm openly honest with them, and I think that's a good thing in business. I think a lot of people in business shy away from the actual things that they want to say, especially to people that are working for them or working with them. I think you've got to be really honest in the business world, almost brutally honest to a point. And especially in finance. If you look at, a lot of these people that have had successful careers in finance, or as, CEOs of any financial company, they're usually pretty brutally honest to their workers, because you come up with an idea and you might lose, a couple million on it. Nobody's gonna, want that to happen to their firm. So, I mean, you either shoot it down or you don't. So ideas where, I don't believe are in my best interest, I usually shoot down rather quick. And ideas that I really think could take off, I'm all ears.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And, based on everything you've done so far with like your business, entrepreneurship, trading, what is something that you failed at that sticks out in your mind that you just completely failed at?
I failed at a lot of things. And that's part of being an entrepreneur. But my freshman year, I came to school and I was looking for connections like you, like Sean, and a bunch of other people. And sometimes I just failed on, reconnecting with you guys quicker. When you get out in the world and you're trying to, make something happen, you've got to be very active about it, I'd say. You've got to be, proactive about the decisions that you're trying to make and stuff, because at the end of the day, you could find really smart people and you could make a great team, but you've got to go, hands-on 100%. And if you don't, then, you might lose some people's attentions. It happened to me when I made music a long time ago. And I regret that decision ever since. But, once you have some type of success, you need to run with it as fast as possible, I think. And for a while, that was part of my problem, as I was too lackadaisical on actually enabling the solution that I had created to solve whatever problem. And now I think, after 2-3 years, I think I've gotten there.
Gotcha. Thank you. And, even though you were one of the fortunate to start at a younger age to kind of change your mindset, even if you can go back in time to that younger version of yourself, what is something that you wish you've known before that you know now that you can actually tell that younger version of yourself? A piece of knowledge, or, regarding struggle, success, what is something you would tell the younger version of yourself?
Well, first, I'd give them a lot of stock tips. I mean, but, I think that's something everybody wishes they could do if they went back in time,
Yeah, kind of
if I could give them one piece of knowledge, I'd tell them, learn as much as you can. Well, you're given the amount of time that you've got, because every day it feels like a time crunch,
Yeah.
You're doing homework, you're doing school, you're trying to learn outside, and now, I'm gonna have a contract where I have to work a certain amount of hours a week. And, if I could go back, I'd say, learn as many comm sci languages as I possibly can. Right now, I know 3. I wish I had known more.
Yeah.
And I wish I had done more to keep learning and to keep, building on that knowledge. Because, I don't know if it's something that entrepreneurs feel, but I almost never feel satisfied with what I've retained in terms of information. It's like there's a passion, or there's a struggle inside to know more, to get more information, to feel like you've mastered the subject more. And I feel like that's a good thing, but not being satisfied can sometimes not be a good thing also. But there's got to be some type of balance, and you just got to find it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, where, like you said, it's no matter what milestone you achieve in your goals or dream board, you never want to stop learning or give up. You always want to, for the rest of your life until you die, you want to keep learning, challenging yourself, getting comfortable being uncomfortable, just to keep doing something new that you're not used to, that is not easy. So yeah, I totally agree with that. You have to not be fully settled, be grateful for what you have, but just not satisfied or settled. You always want to just keep pushing for that next level. So I totally agree with that.
Exactly.
Now, as far as with the audience that's viewing that we'll be viewing this in the near future, what is one piece of advice, words of wisdom that you can give the audience that's maybe they feel like there's no hope for them, maybe they just feel stuck? Like, what is one piece of advice you can give them if they want to pursue entrepreneurship, pursue something better for themselves and their families? What is that one piece of advice that you would give the audience?
I'll say it before and I'll say it again. There's this thing. It's beautiful. It's called passion. You know, everybody has a passion. You know, whether you know it or not. And a lot of people just haven't figured it out yet. Especially, you know, at the current age. You know, where I'm in college. I'm 20 years old. You know, a lot of people that I talk to, they just don't know what they want to do with their life. And that is the one thing that will set you apart. You know, whether it's wanting to work, whether it's, you know, having success, because odds are most of the time when you're doing something that you're passionate about, you're going to have some type of success, because you're going to work harder, you're going to work longer, you're going to do more things to get yourself educated at a higher level. Yeah. I mean, you just can't go out of, you know, what you want to do. You'll always come back to what you want to do, right? Yeah. I mean, I played basketball all my life. There was nothing better than dribbling a basketball and feeling that, you know, first bounce when it hit the basketball floor. It was like, you know, a coming of age every single time. Like, I did it. It just felt right. Like, so every time I go back out there and hit that first dribble, it feels great. I feel like a kid again. And that's, you know, some people have multiple passions. I'm a person that has multiple passions. And if you do, you know, that's fine. You just gotta give to every passion that you have, and you got to spread it apart equally, or else you'll be unsatisfied. But these people, you know, that are struggling with not being able to be entrepreneurs, I'd say, you know, once you find your passion, you're set. Learn as much as you possibly can about it. Try and, you know, figure out things that connect to your passion that are a little bit different. And then you can see, you know, how your passion works with other people's passions. And then you make some connections, and boom, you've got, you know, some type of company, you've got some type of, you know, practice that you've started, and you'll be a hell of a lot happier than you would be working a 9-to-5 minimum wage job. You know? Yeah,
there's a saying that I heard once that kind of hit me. It says, you know, when you're like working a, you know, corporate job, you would never be paid what you're worth. You're only paid what a position is worth, or what the title is. So never be paid your worth. And I'm like, wow, that kind of hit me when I heard that before. So it's like, it makes a lot of sense. And guys, you know, Justin's, you know, young, he's 20 years old, but look at what he decided to take action and do something and pursue his dreams and passions, and not just sit there and then 30, 40 years on the line wish, oh, well, I wish I would have did this or did that. So I want you guys to really wake up and break free and just literally pursue your dreams and passions, because no matter how old you are, you think about it, Colonel Sanders was literally at retirement age 65 when he started KFC. He might have been a little older, somewhere in the 60s, but he started KFC in his 60s because he had a passion for his recipe. Now think about if he would have just said, well, I'm just too old, I can't do this, you know, KFC would never exist. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but still, he pursued his dreams, and KFCs are over the entire world just because he did pursue that. So no matter how old you are, your 20s, if you're a little bit older or whatever, just you still have time to pursue your dreams. You're still alive, you have a heart beating in your chest, you can still move, you still have you're still knowledgeable in your head. Just go ahead and pursue whatever you want, guys. I just want to leave you guys with that. And if people want to connect with you, Justin, how can people connect with you?
So you can find me on Snapchat with the @ symbol, and then Justin, and then my last name's Kuehn 21, and that'll be my Instagram also. And other than that, you know, if you want to find me, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Justin Kuehn, Kuehn. You'll find me. I'm probably, you know, going to look exactly like this in my picture, so, you know, it'll be pretty easy to find me. So
awesome. And I would definitely have those links in the description, guys. So you just click on it and it'll take you straight to his social media profiles. You can connect directly with Justin and just talk to him and maybe pick his brain on some topics. But really want to appreciate your time, Justin. This was awesome. Thank you for this interview. And all right, anything else you want to say to the audience before we let you go?
No, thanks for listening, guys.
All right, guys. Awesome. Well, guys, you have a great rest of your day. Again, don't live a mundane life, break free, and I'll see you guys on the other side.